Hello, everybody, and welcome. That worked quite well, didn't it, mate?
Smooth. Sorry, I was absolutely absorbed by your new graphic. It's so cool. Genuinely was just watching it. I didn't realise we'd started.
I could just see your face because I added Rob basically just then. We had each other at the exact same time. Rob came in, and he was just there like that.
Yeah, I was just vibing off it, man. It's good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Final Word Show, which me and Rob seem to be making quite a regular thing, which is good. And we are back for another. Well, it's a bumper episode, isn't it, Rob? We've got so much to discuss. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Everyone who's watching, make sure you get your comments in. We'll get to them at the end, and as well, we have the competition winner at the end of the show. So stick around. £100 up for grabs, Rob.
Mate, real talk now. We've got Yorkshiremen watching this. £100. Come on, get the heating on.
And Yorkshire women, mate. You know what I mean? It's everywhere.
Man. It's going to be tense, this £100. Like, yeah, I'm excited for it now.
I might just have to take it off the cards myself. Why not? but yeah, everyone stick around to the end. Rob, how you doing, mate? All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Cheers, man. I'm very good. Another amazing weekend. I've just I've been struggling to remove the grin off my face, to be honest with you. I've had a great time.
Yeah, it's been amazing, mate. And we'll get into it, obviously. But it's it's just that the whole we've been playing Luton, we've been playing Barnsley, and then the whole trajectory of now playing Liverpool and Man City, and you know, with all respect, even just like Wolves coming up next, it's just I'm hard getting my nut round it after about 4 weeks out.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? Like I did when we conceded against City, there was about 30 seconds where I was like, oh, God, oh, no. And then I just had to catch myself and go, we're playing Man City in the Premier League. Chill out. Enjoy it. Like, you know.
Mate, try doing a watch along.
I couldn't do it. Honestly, my language during the game can't even be broadcast on the internet. I'd have to do a watch along on the deep web.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, we dominate, and we'll get into City in a sec, but we dominate so many games, and we've done it now for 2 years under Bielsa. We obviously, me and you've been long-term Leeds fans. We've never experienced that ever before. You maybe more so than me, but like just that this 2 year period where we've dominated team after team after team after team, get into the Premier League and against Man City, it was almost it's a weird adaptation. You're just like, hold on, this shouldn't be happening, and you figure you make yourself stupid expectations, don't you? Like you said, it's Man City.
Yeah, this is it. And like, you know, they're playing a very similar style to us, but they've got, you know, they spent 350 million or whatever on defenders. Like, obviously they're going to be very good, but it was a bit of a shock at first for me. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting seeing that because, yeah, we have had it comparatively looking back now easy. But like now it's, we're playing teams who we're used to going, we're going to do this for 90 minutes. Can you keep up? And other teams going, nah. And then we play Liverpool and City and they go, yeah. Yeah, we can absolutely do this for 90 minutes, you know.
That's it. And mate, I mean, just with regards to City, so when we're talking about the start of the game, obviously, what were your thoughts going into it?
I was just excited for it. Like, it was a complete one where I had to give myself a little talk of, look, if we get beat 5 or 6 here, it happens. It happens against teams like City. We're playing a risky style. We could well get a tonk in. And I was having like a nice weekend away with my missus for her birthday. So I'd negotiated that 1-2 hour spot where I was allowed to go and watch the match. But I was just giving myself a talk because, like, you can't get beat by Man City and then be grumpy on like a trip away. You've got to be nice. So I'd really... Because like I get excited about Leeds at the moment, and rightly so. I think we can give anyone a game. So I'd been like, you know what, we might actually do something. So it was just trying to calm myself down going into it. And the first, like when the game started, that City's play very much quickly did that for me.
Well, that's it. I mean, like that's the thing with partners as well. I try so hard because my partner's always just like, you know, it's fine. You know, you've got the rest of the weekend, and I'm just like, I can't get my head around it. I'm in a permanent mood now, and I can't get out of it.
That's it. Every time if Leeds have got absolutely tugged, like I'll catch myself smiling, I'll be having a nice time, and then I'll just remember, and I'll just go, it's just that constant undertone underneath. Like I could be really enjoying myself, but there's still a little bit at the back of my head, like, we shouldn't have conceded that one.
Yeah. It was weird as well seeing them come out. Like when they were just coming in the stadium, there was like obviously there was Pep going in there, shaking all like the backroom staff's hand and stuff, and you're there like like, where are we right now? We've got Pep Guardiola, we've got Raheem Sterling, we've got Kevin De Bruyne, and they're all just, they're about to face up against Leeds United. Like, what level are we at? It's ridiculous, isn't it? Just like coming down to terms with it all.
Yeah, but this is it. But they're the ones who are going to be worried now watching Matthias Klick stroll into their stadium. Like it's something we've got to get used to. But like it's also something I really want to get over that soon and get back to just being Leeds. This is being back rather than it being a new thing. We are back to where we should be and properly. So it's proper exciting, man. It's a lot more exciting than seeing like Neil Warnock turn up with whichever cronies he's got with him nowadays. It's definitely a lot nicer than not having to play against Neil Harris. That was our equivalent last season, wasn't it?
You put the words out of my mouth. I was about to say Neil Harris as well.
He's such a totem of that horrible period, isn't he? Because we always lost against him as well. So it was a lot nicer, and seeing that caliber of player and manager and just that caliber of football again, it was genuinely beautiful. Like really beautiful is the right word, I think, for it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just nice seeing that fine wine of a manager like Pep Guardiola coming in instead of a camel toe in Neil Harris, isn't it? So yeah, I mean the lineup initially, obviously there was a fair few surprises, would you say? Obviously Alioski was in there. Roberts, who there was a discussion, should it be Roberts, should it be Rodrigo? It also looked like we're in a bit of a weird, Sky seemed to think we're in a 3-5-2. Were you sort of confident with that going into it?
I had no idea what was going on. I've learned now to not fully second guess Marcelo Bielsa, even when I feel like, I don't think there's many people who spend as much time trying to work out Marcelo Bielsa as me, but like whenever you do, you never quite get there. And I've learned to expect the unexpected. Alioski I expected, but I thought we would be relatively unchanged. I thought we'd stay relatively the same. Obviously, Harrison couldn't play. Alioski's the most natural replacement for Harrison. But then Roberts was the surprise for me. And I couldn't quite get a read on the shape. We didn't really have a shape for the start because we were just defending a lot of the time. So, it's difficult to get a read on an actual shape. But I was surprised by it. I was surprised by Roberts, to be honest, because I think the problem with I don't want to ever be bashing Tyler Roberts. I think he's a really, really good footballer, and I'm repeating this every week. I'm like, he's a really, really good player. I think he's going to do really well. I just don't think that's naturally his position, and he can get overwhelmed there sometimes, especially defensively. And I was a little concerned at the lack of control that we might have as a result of that. But we don't have a great deal of options in that position at the moment, and I don't think Bielsa's fully confident in Rodrigo knowing the role yet. So, I guess it's, it makes sense in the history of Bielsa, but I was nervous, definitely nervous.
No, and you make some good points, man. I think we've spoken about Roberts as well in here, and as a Leeds fan, you're in that mindset right now, that sort of morality mindset, which everyone should be, but it's like, we're not dragging them down because they're young players and we love them, but and I think the whole but is coming into play a little bit with Roberts at the minute. I think me and you've discussed it. It's just grabbing that game because we know he's got the ability to his close control, how technical he is, how him and Bamford have such a good relationship. Yeah. But I think just at the minute, I don't know if he's overawed by the Premier League occasion. You can't really put your finger on it, can you?
It's just a big step up in quality. And sometimes I think as football fans, we go looking for sort of answers that aren't really there. Sometimes it's just, it's a step up in his heart, and I think that's just what's happening with him. He's a young player who just needs a bit more time to develop. That's all I see with Tyler Roberts, is just someone who will grow as a player. He came to us at such a young age with not a lot of football behind him.
Injured as well, wasn't he?
Exactly. He's had a really stop-start career. He's not had a lot of game time. So I think it's understandable. And like I say, I see the same attributes in him, and I see a lot of real incredible quality with Tyler Roberts. I just don't think he's the right player for that position currently for Leeds.
No, I think you bang on there, and we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that a little bit later on, mate. But with regards to sort of that, so we've kind of spoken about it briefly, but that first 20 minutes, what are you thinking, Rob? What's going through your head?
I'll be honest, I was not optimistic for the rest of the game. I was just watching it.
How terrifying was that? Because at least with the Liverpool game, we had that onslaught, but we sort of got into it in the first 15 in a way. But that City, I don't think I've ever seen Leeds
Mm.
dominated in my life like that for like a 20-minute spell.
I definitely have, but like that was when we had so when we had like Tong and Brown and Green being our midfield. Like it was in the last couple of seasons, definitely we've not been close to overrun like that. It was wow. It was one of those where you really see the level and you see how good they are. And it was terrifying. And if they could finish, then then it could have been away from us in 20 minutes. I mean, I think we were quite lucky they didn't have Aguero or Jesus fit in that regard.
You just forget about that. It's like, Gundogan out, Bernardo Silva not starting, Fernandinho not starting. Yeah. It's like the plethora of just...
Yeah, but we didn't have Pablo Hernandez, so I think that evens it out.
Mate, true. Also a good caveat to that is they're all talking about, we've got so-and-so, we've got so-and-so. Well, we arguably had two of our best players out in Harrison and Hernandez.
Exactly. Two really important players to how we play, and I think that was really understated. And this is it, because a lot of the commentators don't really know who they are yet. So I think that was going on. But yeah, obviously they were missing a lot of big players, but they're a system team like us. They all are interchangeable pieces within the system that Guardiola creates. And yeah, I was watching it like we are in a lot of trouble here. I did believe that Bielsa would get a bit more of a grip on it and change the game. That's what he does, and when we lose control. But I was a little bit overwhelmed. I think I had the same feeling that our back line had. I was just like, what is this?
But what is obviously with you doing the Bielsa Bible now, which a lot of people know that you do. If you don't, go follow Rob's channel, the Bielsa Bible.
Check it out.
What is selfless plug? What is the whole, with regards to Bielsa's mindset then? With 20 minutes gone, you've got your sort of prodigy in Pep Guardiola doing what he's doing. We all know that he's got £1 billion worth of talent at his disposal. What do you think's going through Bielsa's mind there? Because it's not, let's survive. Do you think that is actually doing his nutting for 20 minutes straight?
Oh, hugely. Hugely. There is no, whilst, Bielsa always respects opponents, I think, he respects them enough to think he can beat any of them.
That's what I mean. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't see the game like that, and he definitely won't be thinking this game is done and away from us. He won't have been happy, though, because the control is always the number one thing with Bielsa. It's always about controlling the game, because that's how we maximise our potential for winning it, and we had zero control. Yeah. So I'm sure he will have been analysing where we were losing that control and seeing how Phillips was being marked out of the game, and they were doing a really intelligent pressing job on Phillips. They were targeting him in pairs and hunting him down and giving him no time at all. Yeah. And that breaks down our play a lot. And that shows just, how great a manager Pep is. But Bielsa will have been watching that. And we saw that we started to regain a bit of control, and we started to be able to change our shape slightly to get some more patterns going. And yeah, thank God we did, because it was terrifying.
Yeah, man. It's almost like, is it simple stopping? And this is a very broad statement. But is it, we sort of saw it being simplified by Pep in terms of neutralise Calvin Phillips, get a lot of quality around him in terms of Foden, in terms of De Bruyne. Mahrez was also closing in on him. And then completely restrict Leeds' flow by neutralising Calvin. Is it as simple as that, or is there more to it?
I think there's definitely more to it. There's loads of stuff that we won't understand, these are the highest possible level coaches in the world. Yeah. But that is the long and short of it in a lot of ways, which is why I think what's been interesting with the way we've been playing in these few games is we're often going a little bit more direct when we can't have that control and looking to bypass the midfield press. And we did a lot of that this weekend. And that's why Robin Koch is such an important player to us now. His range of passing from the back and his Melier's distribution as well. We can just pop over the top, and we can do that a bit more if Calvin gets marked out of the game, because that has been a weakness for us. And certainly earlier on in Bielsa's time at Leeds, I think there was a couple of games where they just sat people on Calvin and it completely destroyed our flow. I think we're getting better at it now, and I think we evidenced that. But clearly Guardiola had seen that how important to the way we play he is, and did his best to stop it, and did very well at that, to be fair. Really disrupted Calvin's game.
Did we show them too much respect?
A little bit at first, yeah. I think we sort of. I don't know though. I think they were just better. for a bit. You know, I think there was a case of that, and I think there was an adjustment to being on the back foot. You know, that is, we're not a team that's used to having to do that and having to defend like that and being that up against it. So possibly though that we weren't quite. I don't know. I don't know if was aggression the problem. Was it the coordination was the problem? I think the fact that they were just out passing us and just playing it round us so quickly, it just broke our press a bit, and we couldn't get anything going forward because we were adjusting to having Calvin completely out of the game, essentially. You know, it was they just did a really good job on us. I'm loath to criticise Leeds as much as just praise how good they were.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then but it all started to change, didn't it? I mean, towards the back end of the half, we had Ayling with that unbelievable chance. Once again, another elite world-class save by some of the keepers that we're going to face in this division.
Yeah, he's not bad, is he? He's not bad, is Edison? Like he had an incredible game. Yeah,
he was unbelievable. What are your thoughts on sort of what changed? Do you think it was because, like we just illustrated there, could it potentially just be the fact that we showed them too much respect? Because as soon as we started getting aggressive and playing our way, they sort of backed off. Or was it a case of City maybe dropping after they got the goal?
I don't know. It was hard to say. Like we did respond to it so well, and they did end up dropping back a little. But yeah, it was once we just got that rhythm into our passing a little bit, and we just started the one touch, bam, 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 and realised that we weren't getting a second on the ball, and that's when we really started to play a lot better and put together some good moves. And yeah, just and finding ways around the Calvin problem was a thing that we did well, and just picking out like the wingers and actually getting stringing some passes together. Just that, all of our early moves just kept breaking down a little limply, and we just started to get a little bit of extra rhythm and extra pace into our play, just pressing that second faster, passing that second faster. Once we start doing that, it turns out we're a match for literally anyone.
Yeah.
But it was once we started managing to get them going backwards once we start to get on that front foot, that changes everything. They play in a similar way to us, and they also don't like having to defend properly.
No, and obviously we saw Poveda come on. I mean, who expected that at half time? And just eat. I mean, I don't know what you thought, Rob, but I thought that Costa in the first half sort of struggled against Mendy, and that's maybe where they were getting a lot of joy. But as soon as Poveda came on, the whole game changed, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, like Costa started to grow into the end of the second half, and he was like, there was that really beautiful like back heel on the link up to like one of our chances, and he had but that was when he drifted right in centrally, and he started to influence things a little bit more once he got right into the centre. And obviously that's not really what Bielsa wants his winger doing all the time. So yeah, Poveda made such an incredible impact, and there must be an element of. I'm sure Poveda's had a run at Mendy in training at the past. Their times at City overlapped, didn't they? So, he'll have had a bit more of, here's how you beat Benjamin, and he rattled him. He was incredible, Poveda. I thought he was absolutely magnificent. Loved watching him. He's so exciting when he gets going, isn't he?
And were you sort of shouting for Rodrigo to come on at half time? I know I was.
Yeah. Obviously, of course I was. He's just looked quality when he's come on, and he did it again. He really just looked so impressive, and not quite playing in his natural position as well. But I'm really enjoying him there. He's doing really, really well, and he did add that spark when he came on, didn't he?
Yeah, mate, I thought he was just, spark. It's just like we were talking about. This Rafinha signing, which we'll get onto. It's just that next level quality, isn't it? It's like, we've got obviously this brilliant star quality that's got us up into this next, this division. But I just think when Rodrigo comes on, he just looks next level. He's too good. He's like Sheffield United when he came on. You're always thinking Sheffield United playing that low block, they're difficult to break down. Rodrigo comes on, starts finding pockets, starts finding space. He's confident on the ball, on the edge of their area. And I thought it happened again. And you're looking at against Rodri, Fernandinho. And he was I thought, mate, I don't know what you think, but for about 15 minutes, I thought he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, he was. He's so intelligent in his play. It's really going to be so great to watch. He just drops off and just finds pockets of space so easily. His movement's really clever, and he just deceives defenders all the time and constantly just finding that little pocket and dropping off. I think he's such a complete looking player as well, because he's strong and he's got that little turn of acceleration, but his first touch is unreal. He's got vision. He seems like we've got a hell of a player on our hands there, doesn't he? And when he's fully had his Bielsa induction, and he can play from the start. When Bielsa decides he sufficiently knows how the exact pressing works.
Rob, imagine when he starts, like...
Yeah, he adds so much to our first team. And, like, it's really nice that he can play there as well. It gives us options, and it means that, it doesn't necessarily replace Bamford. It means that we've got more options in how we play around with it. So that's always good, a bit more flexibility. And yeah, he's going to be great.
And and it wasn't just about it wasn't like half chances as well, where Sheffield United, maybe, I don't know what you thought, but because they play in this defensive way, it's difficult to get in and around the box and create chances. But against City, we had some big chances.
Yeah, some absolutely fantastic ones. That one that sort of Rodri sort of chested was an unreal one as well. Just nearly looping in, wasn't it? But yeah, we created some really good stuff. And once we really sort of realised that we could go and play against them, and we could go just carry on doing the exact same things we do against everyone. We really started to play some amazing stuff. Like some of the moves we put together, I screamed at the telly at one point. I was just screaming, "Score this for the highlight reel forever." There was a couple of moves where they would have been like on the big scoreboard at Ellen Road before the match. They were that good. There
was the clear one, was the Dallas one in the first half, wasn't it? When Roberts sort of like played that no-look pass and he went in and Walker sort of just pushed him off. But Edison, once again, another brilliant save.
Yeah, that's it. It was just incredible, beautiful football to watch. And like that was the thing that I really got into in the game. I watched pretty much the whole thing with just a massive grin on my face, because the level of football that was being produced, it was incredible. Like, what an incredible game of football it was. Like, people will look at it and go, "Oh, it's a 1-1 draw." That is one of the best games of football I think I have ever watched. Just in terms of the level of both teams performing to that intensity, and the toe-to-toe, just we'll have a go at you, you have a go at us sort of nature of it, and the pace and the technical quality. It was an absolute feast, and I think Bielsa will be delighted with it. That's what he's looking for in football. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and you could sort of see that and hear that with the commentary as well. Like Neville was just never. I mean, as much as we can't stand him, I know it's so annoying though. I'm starting to really like him, but I feel so dirty.
I had to. I think it's that natural respect that as you have to be unbiased. And he is unbiased when he's watching Leeds, and he's turning around and just being like, "This is unbelievable." And I think we've arguably given, obviously, we'll take the Villa result out, which was obviously an incredible result of the weekend. But arguably the two top teams in Europe, we've given the neutral the best games, haven't we?
Yeah, completely. And, we've given them games as well. It wasn't just that it was entertaining and we got pasted. Like, we could have easily won both of those games. We've been right in the mixer for both of them. And it was just really enjoying that pace of it and the freneticism of it. And then obviously it didn't hurt that we did get the goal. It didn't hurt at all. It was brilliant. Like, it was slightly disappointing that we scrambled one in from a corner. I mean, it's great that we score from corners now that we've added that. But some of the moves we put together, I would have preferred one of them to be the goal. But
yeah, definitely, man. And I arguably think we've also seen the save of the season. I'll put another one in there. Mellier's save against, I think it was Lundstrom last week.
Yeah.
That's probably my top at the minute. But that Edison save for Rodrigo, Bamford nodding it on. Rodrigo's just unbelievable, like, reactions, which were before Ruben Diaz, who was obviously that new 65 million pound defender they brought in. He nods it on, and I've not seen a save like that in a long time. Edison,
it's unreal, wasn't it? Like, you can tell why he's so expensive. It's just he looked completely world class in that game. He was a real problem. Like some of the chances we created, like Ayling did really well with the one he broke through at the end of the half. I think he did pretty much perfectly. It was just a great save to get a hand up and stop it. And another one there, where it was one of those where you just sort of had to applaud it, didn't you? You can't get annoyed by that. It's everyone on Leeds' team has done exactly right. It's like they've all done their job as best they can. Sometimes, you're up against an incredible opponent.
And we know as well, like, one thing I noticed at the end, mate, obviously we got the goal, we got the, the 1-1 draw. But what I noticed at the end, and you'll have noticed this obviously with the podcast and the Bielsa stuff, but what I noticed is Sterling came out, Pep came out, and they were just both like, that was how good. They essentially turned around. They dropped they probably would classify it as dropping 2 points at a promoted team. I would say we dropped 2 points, to be quite honest with you. That's my overall thoughts. I thought we were overall the better team. But I think that it was just the adoration from Sterling, from Pep afterwards. Especially Sterling. Sterling was just kind of like, yeah, what an amazing game of football. It was great how they came up against stuff. So instead of it just being us having to break 11 men down, I thought that was such a poignant way of saying it afterwards.
Yeah, it was beautiful that. And you must get sick of that. If you are playing for City and you're just playing against people defending every week, it must get tedious. It's just the same thing. To actually, these are people who love football. They've dedicated their life to it. And it was a hymn to football the other night. And honestly, the moment at the end of the game, I nearly cried. I nearly went when Bielsa was just on his haunches just for a second after the whistle, just focusing on himself.
What was that? It was weird, wasn't it?
I think there was maybe a little prayer. There was just a little moment of composure, just a little something like that. It was just a little moment of him gathering himself after that intensity. And I think being overjoyed at what his team has produced. I think he will have been so delighted with that performance and in that environment against that team. And then the moment where he just held Pep and just looked into his eyes. My God, that was beautiful, wasn't it? There was just that moment of just mutual respect between these two great artists of the game. And then Pep said to him, it was a fair result because, of course, Bielsa will be like, was it? And, he will have still been doubting himself slightly. But, yeah, I thought that was so beautiful. And, he deserves all these moments. And, it's so lovely to see.
Yeah, it was a real weird moment because he sort of grabbed him, and I think Pep said afterwards he'd asked him the question, how did you think the game went? And Pep said, I can't collate my thoughts right now, because obviously he was still in the mode, but you just know Bielsa will have been thinking about that for 15 minutes previously, won't you?
Oh, easily, yeah, and he'll still be analysing now whether it was a fair result or not. But regardless of whether it was just an incredibly entertaining match and just such a brilliant game of football. And this is what we've really got to stop and smell the roses with a bit this season as well, because, we're going to be absolutely fine. Surely even the most pessimistic Leeds fan now realises we ain't getting relegated, so we can enjoy this. We're going to be nowhere near that conversation. So now it's time to just enjoy it and just really drink it in, because we're going to be telling stories of this season for the rest of our lives. This is historic and beautiful, and I'm blown away by it, and it's just getting better and better and better, and I just wish we were there. I just wish we were in that ground, because can you imagine what Ellen Rowe would have been like that during that game?
I think we'd have won it.
Yeah, I do too. The volume level when we scored that equaliser would have been insane, because we wouldn't have stopped as well. They would have scored and immediately matching on together would have started again. The mood we're in at the moment,
and the scarves that have started going.
Just every beautiful win is a little bit tempered with that sadness at the moment. But we're doing everything we can in this situation, and it's amazing to watch. So. Yeah, I think just taking a second to just appreciate the beauty of what we're watching is really worthwhile at the moment.
And I thought, I don't know about you, but obviously we'll make this the last point on City and then we're moving on to something else. But I don't know if you thought in terms of, there was a really, once again, use that word, poignant moment where De Bruyne, I think he was intercepted by Dallas and he sort of threw his hands up in the air, and you could tell, I thought we were running them down. De Bruyne looked absolutely knackered, threw his hands in the air. And you could just tell at that moment in time, we had them on the ropes. And there was obviously that point. And another point, if you say something about this, was Rodrigo's joy when he scored the goal.
Oh, that was beautiful, wasn't it? On those things, I think you're exactly right on that. There was frustration creeping in because we're so hard to play against, and no matter how fit you are, we are as fit as any other team on earth. And City are obviously at the peak of human fitness, but both teams were, and both teams were getting knackered by the end. But we had a bit more enthusiasm for it because it wasn't just another week where we were messing up. For us, it was, here's our chance to go beat Man City. It's a lot, there's a lot more of a psychological boost there in that sort of thing. But yeah, the joy from Rodrigo was so lovely to see. He seems like a lovely bloke, doesn't he? He seems like a proper good egg, and I was so delighted for him. Just that, because obviously, if you're a striker and you go a while without scoring at a new club, it becomes a thing. So it just gets that monkey off his back, and he can just relax a bit on that front, and it's not as much of an issue. And yeah, it was just great to see, because he clearly wants it. He wants it a lot. And yeah, I just like him a lot already. I'm loving our new signings.
Yeah, I think it helps. It helps not in a strange way, but it does help the fact that he can speak English, because obviously you can express yourself a little bit more. I mean, we'll all be.
You can get more of the nuance a little bit.
Yeah, and we all sort of wish that Bielsa would come out in interviews. He's not going to do it because I think he's got this thing in his head where he's like, I'm not going to make myself potentially look foolish. Like we've seen his interpreters sometimes have said the wrong thing. I think Bielsa's a little bit like, well, I'm not coming out and sort of giving them that sort of.
It's more, he worries a lot about accuracy of what he's saying and being misreported. And I think he's been burnt by reporters in the past. So he's very, very precise about what he says, and he wants to get it 100% right in English. So that's his thing. He can speak English. And but I think it makes press conferences easier for him as well, probably having that little gap. So I wouldn't expect him to change at any point. And to be honest, I think, yes, like keep doing what you're doing, Marcelo. Like I'm happy for him to do it forever.
Yeah, well, Rob, that was an in-depth City chat. So now we're gonna move on, mate, to the rest of the weekend's results. Now, with everything that happened on Sunday, did you sort of and it did? I don't know why it bugged me a little bit, but it sort of overshadowed the performance and the Leeds result for me. I don't know if you thought the same.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I mean, like I've had a weird one because I've been away in the Peak District. So I broke my phone on Saturday. So like I've been completely disconnected, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just be disconnected. That'll be nice. So I've just been wandering around the countryside, having a lovely time. And I've only really like last night when I got back, I turned on my computer and like to watch Match of the Day too. And I was like, what has happened?
Oh, did you not know any of the scores?
No, I didn't know anything until like last night. So I immediately text every Man U supporter I know, ha 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 ha. And then I did the same with every Liverpool fan I knew, and then a few City fans. But yeah, it definitely did overshadow us a bit because it was such a mad weekend in the Premier League that, I think people haven't really paid attention to how great we were. But, the more we go under the radar, the better. But what absolute madness. Like I've barely processed what's gone on. I don't, I'm not the best person to speak to about these games. I've only seen like a little bit because I was going to watch Match of the Day too. I ended up just chatting to my mates on WhatsApp. So I haven't even watched the goals yet.
Yeah.
But mate, just chaos.
Just absolutely mad. But then we also finished got to yesterday, whatever you want to call it. We've been doing it for obviously months now in terms of the international market. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, mate, I'm going to list off some of the names now. Harrison, Charlie Allen, Drama, Van der Heuvel, Koch, Llorente, Meslier, Costa, Gelhardt, Greenwood, Rodrigo, Somerville, Rafinha. It's not been a bad one, has it?
It's not a terrible window. I think, have we had the best transfer window in the Premier League? We might have done. Like, we're up there.
Yeah, I think you'd probably go with, I think you'd say maybe Everton and Villa are sort of on par.
They're the only ones who are in the conversation, aren't they, with us? Yeah. Yeah, it's been an absolute madness. I think I also predicted that both of those teams would do terribly this season. So I'm already absolutely miles off on that one. But yeah, like we've been absolutely brilliant. I mean, the one thing we're missing obviously is a central mid, and I think that's still a glaring gap in the squad. But we're in talks with Cantwell. Apparently, that would perfectly fill the role. But even if we don't sign anyone else, we are golden. Like we've got players who are versatile enough to play in every position, and what an injection of quality, and I think just the right amount as well. We haven't gone overboard. We haven't replaced the whole team. We've invested in youth and like a few key high quality signings. I've been so impressed with it.
Yeah, it's a model, isn't it? It's not just panic buys. We're looking at the future with like Sarencio, Somerville, Gelhardt, who keeps being spoken about as the next big thing. Greenwood, who looks like an absolute finisher. Cody Drama, who one-on-one defending, Robbie, looks absolutely unbelievable in the reserves.
Yeah.
But that make the third highest spenders in the window. It really is days from Noel Hunt and Luke Murphy, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's unreal, isn't it? And it's because we've been promoted at such a it's awful, obviously, in the world, but in terms of like the finances of a football club, it's a really good time to be promoted because we had a championship wage bill suddenly with Premier League incomes, and other clubs don't have a lot of money sloshing around. Their incomes are being cut. So suddenly we had an incredible opportunity, and I think that the board have recognised that we will never have an opportunity like this again.
Yeah.
They've really just gone all in on it, and in really such an intelligent fashion. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think the thing that's impressed me the most has been what has happened when we haven't got our targets. Like, it hasn't been like a scrambling. If we haven't got a target, we've just gone, okay, next one. And just constantly just gone down the list and just gone, we haven't got him, we'll get him. And I think that's been so impressive, that the cohesive thinking behind the transfers has been a joy to behold, rather than it just being whoever we can get in. We're not signing mercenaries, we're signing people who have the specific profile that we need. And yeah, great signings.
Definitely, mate. I mean, I guess two aspects of which we've been talking about on the Room Mill, I've been speaking about on other shows and stuff. I know me and you have had a chat before, and goalkeeper wise, you think it's absolutely fine. Would you be okay if Meslier potentially did get injured?
No, at that point, I'm very worried. I think Meslier is a perfectly good number one for us for the season, and I'm really excited to see him grow. I think he's proved his worth already. But in terms of a number two, I hope Capril's good.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, look. I know it's a very contentious issue, so we'll take the charges of whatever Casilla said or didn't say off the table for this discussion.
Keep it on football.
We'll keep it on football. I think he's terrible. This is the thing. I don't rate him as a keeper. I think he's really good on the ball. His footwork's fantastic, but I think he's an idiot. He doesn't have, he makes stupid mistakes, and he's clumsy. And I think our whole defense looks less confident with him behind them.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And I think people have this tendency to throw stats at you about his clean sheets and his percentages and all this sort of stuff. The thing that you've got to take away from that is he had an unbelievable defense in front of him with Ben White and Cooper and Dallas. There was a period of time, about 30% of that season, where teams wouldn't get near our goal. They wouldn't get near our goal. So it's all well and good quoting sort of percentages about him being in net and us doing okay. Well, the underlying stat is he probably didn't face that many shots, and we're not here to pick apart Kiko, but at the same time, it is one of those things where I think you've got to take everything into account. And coming into the Premier League season as a number two, I mean, hopefully there's been a lot of good reports about this Elia Capril, so hopefully he's the way forward. But I mean, in this domestic window, it's probably going to be quite difficult. It doesn't look like it's a bit of a club target, does it, getting another GK in?
Yeah, I think it's sort of slipped down the priority list because Melia's handled it so well. I think it's a lot of money as well for Casilla. His wages are huge in order to be a number two keeper. I'm not, I think the key stat. I think you were totally right. I think you can prove a lot. I'm into statistics, and I think they can be really useful, but they can also be unhelpful, and they can also point you in the wrong direction if they're used incorrectly. And I think that's a case with the Kiko thing that people pointing out his clean sheets. I think the important thing to look at Kiko is the amount of points he has cost us, the amount of the amount of games he has lost us or we have drawn because of him. Bear in mind, we would have been in the Premier League for a season already had we not had Kiko Casilla be our goalkeeper.
That derby fixture just completely evaporates out of people's minds, doesn't it?
And I don't know how. It's scarred onto my brain. So yeah, I was done with him then. Although to be fair, I did back him to have a good campaign after that. I'm quite a positive fan, I want to be, and I was like, look, I think he'll come back stronger after this playoffs and blah blah blah. But once again, my prediction was absolutely awful. So, yeah, I will not be excited about the prospect of seeing Kiko Casilla. Also, look. On the divisiveness thing, whether you believe he did or didn't say whatever, the fact that it is a divisive issue amongst the fans is the reason I want him gone. Is because that is the only thing dividing us. We're so together and we're so on board with this beautiful moment as Leeds fans. I don't want there to be this underlying argument of half of people thinking one thing, half of people thinking another, and it becoming this split between us when we're at this beautiful time. So I'd personally like to see him gone. Best of luck elsewhere. But that would be my ideal, but I don't think it's going to happen, is it?
No. And I'm completely in agreement with what you're saying, mate. There's a lot of people who don't agree with that, and that's fair enough. That's what this channel's for. As I'm sure, yours is as well, Rob.
Yeah, like my opinions are never sacrosanct. I'm wrong about loads of stuff. I'm always happy. Look, if someone puts in the comments, hey, here's why I think you're wrong, I always like have a chat with them. I'm up for that. If someone just goes, you're an idiot, then all right, whatever.
Yeah, and unfortunately, guys, with about 430 of you watching, we can only pick out the super chats because otherwise there's just reams and reams and reams of comments. So Jasper says again here, I put a bet on LUFC start of the season top 4 at 25-1, a fiver outright. 250-1 for a fiver, and I still believe we can. I'm a Leeds fan from Birmingham. Oh, the poor lad! Imagine the Villa fans.
Oh, no.
Imagine the Villa fans. Leeds made me bold.
Oh dear, I love it. He's put all Leeds aren't we, and then like an ellipsis, and then NOT. I think he's meant to put MOT, but just like he's got all Leeds aren't we. Not.
Maybe he's a Villa fan in disguise or a Birmingham fan.
Well, he's optimistic anyway. Whatever he is, he's an optimistic lad. Look, I think we're going to do very well this season, but I think you may have lost yourself a tenner there.
But thank you once again for the donation, mate. But yeah, I mean, we've spoken about a goalkeeper. We've got so much depth, Rob, now in so many areas.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think LUFC data did a stat, and we're absolutely covered in most positions. Let's get on to another controversial one, which saw Leeds go for a player and him essentially fail a medical, and I think we're all a bit depressed at that point. But it was it's Cuisance, Michael Cuisance, and
old Mikey Croissants.
Oh, Mikey, Mickey Croissants. So he failed his medical, and at that point you sort of understood that Leeds are up for going and getting an 8. I don't think Rafinha was that substitution because he's a winger. So what are your thoughts, obviously, because once again, Matthias Klick is Premier League. For me, top 2, arguably top 3 of our best players in terms of ability.
Yeah.
Once again, mate, I guess you got to ask the question, what happens if he gets injured?
Yeah, this is the problem. We are thin in that position. It would be a lot more of shuffling around and playing players slightly out of position. And look, we think we'll do okay with that, but it's not ideal. And like that does feel like the weakness in the squad for depth. And obviously we've got Pablo to come back, but he's not a spring chicken now. He's not going to be able to play 90 minutes every week. He's just not. So, yeah, I do think that's a worry. And, I was dead excited about Cuisance. I thought,
me too.
It's like, because it looks incredible. He's got that poise and elegance. I mean, it's kind of been quite nice. He's gone to Marseille. So, like, on the Bielsa Bible, we sort of like link up with the other Bielsa clubs and support them. So, I have, he's gone to another one of the former Bielsa teams. So, in that way, it's nice. But, yeah, I was gutted because I thought he was exciting. But it does show that we're not daft anymore. We're not just chucking money around. We're not just going, we'll buy whoever you've got. We're going, not good enough for us. And like, there's no point in having another JKA, essentially. He was another one of, felt like that. If you can't get up to Bielsa's fitness standards, there's no point in having you at the club. And clearly we've seen something there and not taken the risk. And only time will tell. It's one of those that hindsight will show you that. But if he ends up being injured all the time for Marseille, then we've done incredibly. And even if he's not, I'm kind of glad that we're being sensible and we're looking to build sensibly, even though it would have been fun.
Yeah, I mean, is it sort of I guess that's the whole chat with Cantwell, isn't it? It's the fact that he can work as a centre midfielder, but he can work as a 10 as well. And that's what we need. For me, you can't see it being an 8 and a 10, can you? It's just got to be someone who's able to transition into both roles.
Yeah, and it's Bielsa. Like, he wants players who can play in multiple positions. That's like his first criteria with a player is that they're flexible. So it'll be an 8/10. Whereas Rafinha, we might well try as a 10, but he's like an 11/10, not an 8/10. So like that's where we're going to be looking. Definitely someone who can do more of the water carrying. Someone who's just more of a midfielder, someone who's a little bit further back, but has the creativity to play as a 10. So Cantwell does seem like he fits the bill. See how that goes. We'll see what happens with Norwich because I think they're probably going to play hardball with us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's their price cow, isn't he? Do you think with regards to Rafinha, were you getting? I mean, mate, I tell you what, it was rumbling on, and you were thinking, right, okay, he's played for Rennes, which is quite unusual. Got an assist and a goal. And it's rumbling on, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, Leeds. I think I went for a run at about 6 o'clock. I was thinking I'll get back and they'll have announced it. Can do a stream. It's knocking on to about 8 o'clock, 7:30, 9 o'clock. are you getting Dan James vibes at this point?
Well, again, like, I've had a nice weekend because I've not followed it that closely. I've sort of like just logged in after the fact. So
you've had a great weekend then, mate.
Yeah, I've totally coasted through it. So I just watched the match, logged off, came back, and we'd signed a new winger. I was absolutely delighted. But it's one of those where, since Dan James in particular, I've been really wary with signings of getting too excited before they're in a Leeds shirt, and then even then a little bit after that. So like I want to see it fully confirmed, and it was that with Quitons. We've learned to do that. So I will never believe a transfer is done until it is done. Now I've learned that lesson. I try and ignore rumours as much as I can, but I get excited still, and signing a Brazilian winger is always exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, and he looks mustard, doesn't he?
I mean, yeah, I've watched some YouTube highlight reels, and that's I do the same as everyone else. We sign a player I've never heard of. I'm not one of these people who's like, I watched 98 games of Ren over the last 4 seasons. I haven't watched Ren ever. I don't think I've even played as him on FIFA once.
Well, I thought it was. I'd never heard of him before yesterday. I thought it was a cop suite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I had no idea, so I can't pretend to know a lot about him. But he's Brazilian, he's tricky, he looks to take a man on, and that's always going to be fun. I mean, it's slightly surprising that we've gone so hard for a winger after Poveda has done so well.
Yeah.
But I guess from what I've read of Rafinha, he can play either side, and that's important. So I think it'll be. I don't know if Bielsa really thinks Alioski is the option there. Mm-hmm. I love Gianni Alioski. I think he's bloody brilliant, and I hope he stays at the club. But I don't know if he's quite a top-end Premier League player. We'll remain to see. So I think that's probably where the thinking is with Rafinha, someone who can replace Harrison or Costa.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and I think it's I think it's going to be competition for Costa, to be honest, mate, which is really interesting because, I said last night that is sometimes I think Costa's defensive work is suspect sometimes, but overall I think he's brilliant. I love Costa. I'm a big advocate of Costa. Like I was the one who was supporting him when there was loads of people who were bashing him last year. Arguably, I would say that with Bamford, maybe it was the other way around, which I hold my hands up to. But with
I had his back.
Exactly, yeah. But with regards to that, I just think I think he's going to be some real competition, and adding fresh competition to any side, just a good thing, surely, isn't it?
This is it, yeah. I mean, I was getting to a point where it was like, oh, do we have too many players? And then they remembered how thin our squad was, and actually, having 4 wingers competing for 2 places is really good because that's essentially what it is now. I think it's Harrison and Costa are the incumbents, and then we've got Poveda and Rafinha looking to break that. Is the way I read it. So that's great. That's what you want. You want someone pressing there, and yeah, he looks fun. He looks like a fun player to watch, and I'm all about that.
Yeah, well, it's entertaining football, isn't it? Which is what we're all here for.
Yeah, totally,
mate. Moving on. So we're in this period now. I'm sure me and you will do a few more videos together. It's the international week. What do you think of the international weeks?
I hate it. I especially hate this one. I hate the one that comes when you've just started a season and then there's an international break. I just think that this is by far the worst one. No one cares about international football right now. No one outside of FIFA's headquarters cares at all about any international game. I do not care. I don't even know who England are playing. I don't really care. Outside of a major tournament, couldn't care less. I get that you've got to get the England teams together. You've got to get the national teams together every now and again. You don't need to do it 3 weeks after the season starts. I think it's ridiculous. It ruins all momentum, especially this season. It should have been cancelled.
Yeah,
especially this season.
They just seem more regular as well, don't they?
Yeah, they're all the time, and I don't care to watch England play against Belarus. It's just, whoever it is, I just don't care. And I'm not, I love seeing Calvin Phillips get another England cap. That's brilliant. But we could have done it in 6 weeks' time once the season was properly in.
Yeah, and I'm definitely, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking Rodrigo's gone, Llorente's gone. I'm thinking Dallas has gone, Cooper's gone. We've got about
we've actually got internationals now, and not just for North Macedonia.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those in my head where I'm like, well, is there potential injuries there? Is Calvin going to pick up or not? That's the thing with international breaks. I hate them because it's it's boring. I'm not invested in Man United players. I'm not invested in Chelsea players at all, or just any other player. And I think I've always found that a little bit difficult. I don't know why, but I always found it difficult supporting like a Mank. I can't get my head around it. And like,
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, and I just think we're also going to get to that point where potentially, if we're having these internationals, the likelihood is one of them is going to come back with a tiny bit of a niggle.
Yeah, no, it's totally right, and like that is an issue, and like on the issue of like supporting like Man U players or like Chelsea players, I know like that is an issue for me. But like at national tournaments, like once every 2 years, I can put that aside, and for the sake of unity, in a major tournament, we'll put it to the side, and I'll clap Jesse Lingard, right? But as soon as that tournament's over, I'm back to hating the little rat, and I don't want to be watching him in September and pretending that I don't hate him. It's totally that. So and we're all, we were all invested in our clubs a lot more, especially right now, and. Yeah, it's annoying. There's a chance for other teams to regroup as well. I want Man U to keep having play people at the moment. I don't want them to have a rest. I don't want them to be refreshed over the international break.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hilarious if Cavani went off and just got injured, but that
would be very funny. Yes, not that I would ever wish injury on another human being who didn't play for Man United.
It's just our cast-off targets, isn't it? First Dan James, now Cavani.
John Kevin Augustine as well. They tried to sign him.
They did, yeah. They did. The Gits, they did.
Yeah, they tried to steal that deal. I mean, like, I kind of wish they had done in the end now.
Yeah. But it's a great time at the minute, mate. With regards to moving on then, obviously in a couple of weeks' time, which me and you will speak about anyway. But the fixtures are, they're hotting up, mate. I was thinking to myself the other day, I was thinking, we've got through the rough of it. But I guess the start of it, we've had two of the best teams in Europe. But then we've had... Not winnable. No, they are. They're winnable games in Fulham and Sheffield United. Now, coming up, we've got, I think it's Wolves next. Then it's Villa, who are on fire away. Then we've got Leicester, Palace, and Arsenal. So it's not an easy run. But I guess could you say that with any sort of
like who are the easy teams in the league? Well, the answer is West Ham. But there aren't that many teams that are like terrible. I mean, who are like abjectly. So yeah, if you look at any sort of run of 10 fixtures in the Premier League, you're going to have some doozies in it. I think, and I don't think it matters who we're playing is the thing. I think we're just as likely to win or lose against a crap team as we are against a really good one. Because of the way we play, to be honest with you. Like, it's there's no one I'm scared of, especially after playing City and Liverpool. Those are by far the two best teams in the league. And we've played them and you look at it, flying colours.
And you look at it, Wolves, Leicester and Villa, they're going to all come at us, aren't they? They're not going to sit in a low block.
Yeah, those are going to be great games, Like, I think, there is every chance we'll lose one of them 6 or 7, but, there will be incredible matches, and I'm dead excited to watch them. I think they're going to be really fun.
Yeah. So I'm presuming with you being away as well, we're just looking at a few comments here. So did you understand the fish and chips reference then from the club?
Right, I've caught back up on that, and I think it's absolutely incredible. I think it's one of the things that Leeds United are best at in the world is giving grief on social media. I was absolutely hilarious. I laughed so hard at that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, that was brilliant, and I've never seen a more I know there could be salty fans when teams lose and stuff, and I get that, and there's bans on social media, but they were annoyed. The
Reds fans were not happy buddies, were they? They did not take that. Like, they tried, we'd gone in there with a mask and a gun and stole him rather than just paying money for a footballer. That was the thing that made me so excited, though. If they're that angry about losing him, we've got a player on our hands, or they've just got, problems at home with the missus. But it was a level of rage that I've rarely encountered. It was insane.
And it's the French insults, isn't it? Which I'm sure the Mediterranean insults, which we don't
Absolutely
really
love it.
Which we don't really see as insults, but they really do. And
I know, it's so funny. The thing is, we're not a fish and chips club. We're a sausage and chips and gravy club.
Well, that's it. And all I could hear was it was about mothers, it was about chips and gravy and alcohol, which it probably just sums us all up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, you lot in Yorkshire, you drink a lot and you eat a lot of chips, don't you? And we're like, yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is our culture.
Yeah, and I just found it really funny. Yeah, exactly like you just said. How they were just explaining our culture. It's like, yeah, we don't frown upon it. You guys might, but there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Dead funny. Like, really, really funny. And yeah, like, hats off again to Digital Wilson. Good lad. He's brilliant at that. He's absolutely top class.
Yeah, Mark Allen, any chance of a shout out? Of course, Mark. Watching from working from home in St. Pete, Florida. Love this content and will donate when extra funds are available. Thanks, mate. Any donations go straight back into the channel. Rob and Connor to LUTV would be a sensational. There you go, Rob. We've got our calling card, mate.
Mate, I'd take that job. Yeah, like I'd go hang out with Ben Parker. That sounds lovely.
I'd take any job right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. Well, apparently I've got to retrain. I've got told today.
Really?
Well, that's what Rishi Sunak said today. He's got to go. Like, people in the arts have got to go retrain, but I'm useless at everything. So keep donating, people.
Yeah, we just got to keep on with the YouTube game. And,
this is it, man. I've already retrained as a YouTuber. It's grand. Check out my channel.
So we've got Titan Master Gaming saying, if we win all the upcoming games, we win the league. I don't know if that's a serious comment, but maybe it is, Rob. What do you reckon?
It's a fact. Like, I think if we win every game for the rest of the season, we're in with a good shout. But, you know, like, yeah, if we score 10 goals every game, we'll do well. I don't. Yeah.
Who's impressed you? So obviously, you know, taking the sort of Leeds hat off at this moment in time in the Premier League, who have you thought? Yeah. All right, they look very decent, apart from the obvious ones.
Well, to be honest, I'm going to go for one of the obvious ones because like we did a video predicting the season, and I want to already hold my hands up to the ones I've got massively wrong. I was trying to be a smart aleck. I was like, you know what, right? Everton spending a lot of money, and Ancelotti has been a great manager, but I don't know if he's still.
I remember that, yeah.
I know. I'm giving it the big guns. Like, I don't know if he can quite do it in the Premier League anymore. And yeah, it turns out.
I think you actually convinced me. I've got a Scouse mate, and I was speaking to him about it, and he went, "No, honestly, mate, James is the real deal." And I was like, "Nice." I was having a chat with a mate earlier, and we were just going through his stats and stuff, and he was like, "Kind of, what are you talking about? His stats are incredible. He's played like 84 games and scored something like 60 goals or whatever."
Yeah, I was talking out my bum. It turns out it wasn't a good shout. Like, Everton have looked absolutely brilliant. They've looked incredible. Like, look, whether they can hold it on for the season, and you know, if James gets an injury, they're in a lot of trouble. But yeah, I was totally wrong. They look fantastic, and it's nice to see that, though. It's nice to see that. I hope that's actually a bit of a rivalry. I'd love to see them beat Liverpool, you know, because Liverpool fans are a little bit too confident about that derby. They've been winning it for so long. Yeah. I think they need one back, and they've had a rattle recently. So yeah, hands up to that one. And also, I said that Villa would probably do badly, and was wrong. But I did also say Sheffield United would struggle. So, you know, 1 out of 3 ain't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Villa look. It's the weird thing is with Villa. I think Villa out of the next 4 or 5 games, including Arsenal, I think Villa could be the toughest one.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think they've just got the right balance now. You know, obviously with Barkley, I'd say obviously you missed the game, mate. That Liverpool game, that could have been 10. That was a complete mauling. And we had this with Liverpool last time we played them. Well, when we played them, it was like, Liverpool are having an off day. But there's got to be a point where you've got to turn around and you know, when Jack Grealish, as much as you hate to say it, is getting 3 assists and scoring twice, you've just got to say, like, Villa just mauled them, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, they look really good. And like for the little bits I've seen, obviously I didn't see the game at the weekend, but like Watkins looks like a really good addition for them. He looks like he's really working well.
We knew that though, didn't we?
Yeah, but like there was always a worry that he would struggle to adapt. And, you know, I think people overplay that with the Championship nowadays, though. I think the pace and the quality of the Championship has increased to a level where that gap isn't as hard to breach anymore. Yeah. You know, we've seen us do it, and we've seen top level Championship players step up. And yeah, like, you know, I always thought he'd be a good signing for them, but he's really hit the ground running, and they've improved in really key areas, and they just look a much better side. Like Everton have done the same. They've just, in key areas where they were weak, they've just really improved with quality and really changed it round. And like putting Alan and Decore in their midfield was a huge thing. And like, you know, like Villa just look a much better side. And it's annoying because my brother-in-law's a Villa fan, so I was hoping to lord it over him this season, but it looks like it might actually be a bit of a head-to-head.
Yeah, and you know, with Dean Smith and John Terry, man, John Terry, we're not going to. I'll tell you what, mate, that's something that for the Bielsa Bible to look at right there. The John Terry disrespect for Marcelo.
Frank Lampard is officially the devil in the Bielsa Bible Church. And I think his right-hand man is John Terry. So he's definitely satanic.
So, you just know that it's that level of respect that we got from Pep, that level of respect that we got from Sterling when they just came out afterwards and were like, it was a brilliant game. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, we dropped 2 points, but, we enjoyed the game. That's what it's all about. Football is about entertainment. Dean Smith and John Terry are going to come to town. And it's just, I know with Villa, it's going to be a nasty game, innit? Is there a little bit of a rivalry developing with Villa?
I don't think there's a proper one, as much as like everyone wants a rivalry with Leeds, like everyone does. Like they always like make up their own little rivalry. And the only way there's a rivalry with like Villa is that we're both big proper clubs, who've been there and done it for years and years and years and got big passionate fan bases. I don't think there's a particular, extra rivalry. It's just that when two big fan bases collide, innit? I think that's all that's going to happen with Villa. I mean, there's obviously there was the goal that never was, and all that sort of. Yeah, there's all those sort of like little bits that add a bit of spice, and like we've had some like spicy meetings with them, but I don't think there's any particular historic rivalry. I just think there's
more of a competitive one.
Just a competitive one, exactly. Yeah, and like unfortunately, I think it's going to be competitive again.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, man. I think this is the thing with the Premier League as well. That you look at the games now, Wolves is going to be tasty. Everton's going to be tasty.
Yeah.
Villa is. All these games, even just like West Brom and Fulham, just because of last season, they're going to be tasty. Do you think the level of the Premier League? Because I thought, mate, last year, and obviously now we're there now, which is definitely, it does, of course, it has increased the quality. But do you think the Premier League has got like much better this year? Because it's like we thought this, you mentioned West Ham just then, but I think West Ham have won something like 3 on the bounce, haven't they?
I know they have. It's very weird. Like it does feel like last season was a bit of an aberration of a season. Like a lot of teams had a bad season last year. There was a lot of like teams who were out of sorts, a lot of clubs that were going through transitional phases, and a lot of that's changed around now. So I think in general the quality is really good. I think the competitiveness has really narrowed, and I don't know if there's also the thing that like being home and away doesn't matter at all at the moment.
And penalties have been given every game.
Exactly. So those sort of like random elements have really added to it in terms of the chaos. But I don't think we're going to see a team 20 points ahead of anyone this season. It's going to be a lot more competitive. I think maybe, a lot of like the middle and lower teams have improved, but then also some teams have fallen backwards. So I think it always sort of averages out, I think, in general.
And with the start of the season, would you correct your positional place on where you think we'll finish?
I said 9th before the season, and I now think I've been hopelessly pessimistic. I still think we'll finish around there. I still think that's exactly where we'll be. I think we're gonna, we will have a wobble at some point, and we will lose a bunch of games on a bounce, and I think we'll end up around there. And I think that'll be an incredible season. We've still got to remember, we're all getting a bit carried away, and it's nice, and we should get carried away at the moment. But 17th is a successful season. So we've got to remember that a little bit. But I'm going to stick with 9th. That's the one prediction I made that I think I was actually right about.
yeah, definitely. And I think the bottom 3 is up for grabs, and I'm sure we can do a video on that at some point, mate. But mate, I think we've exhausted all Leeds United. I've kept you for an hour and 4 minutes.
No worries, man. Look, you just wind me up, I'll start talking about Leeds forever.
But yeah, mate, I really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do is, guys, as well, the competition winner. The competition winner is Olivia Thompson. So well done, Olivia.
Big up, Olivia.
There is a competition every week ran by our sponsors, Ship Bikes USA. Got to get that P in there, Rob. But yeah, there's a competition ran every week. It's obviously not going to be for the next 2 weeks because of the international break. But stay tuned. You got to be subscribed, like the video, etc., etc. Then you're in with the chance. We've given out 400 quid, I think, now, and a Leeds shirt. So
not bad going.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? So make sure you're always staying in tune with the channel, because we're going to be getting more prizes and stuff going.
You can win absolutely nothing on my channel.
But your humour, Rob.
Yeah, you win grade A content over on my channel.
But yeah, mate, I think we'll definitely do this again, won't we?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, that would be awesome. And, you know, Bielsa Bible will be out every Saturday. That's on its own channel. And I'm going to be I think what I'm going to start doing, right, I've had an idea. I'm going to start doing this on my own Rob Mulholland channel. I'm going to start trying to do like a late night chat show style monologue, wrapping up the week in Leeds. Like, just doing like a Leeds United, like, comedy sort of thing. Going to call it the Ellen Road Review. So check out my channel on there. I'm going to bash one of those up soon when I've written enough jokes.
Yeah, no, go check that out, guys. It's really good content. Hope you've all enjoyed. We've had some really good viewers. You've stuck with us for about an hour and 10 now. I mean, I don't know why.
People really will watch anything, won't they?
They will really watch any dross. So thank you so much. We'll be doing this again, guys. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you in a bit.